Good morning and welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the vlog. And for those of you wanting Duramax content, well, looks like you're getting your wish. Starting tomorrow, just one more McLaren video, one last upload for the season. God damn it, I guess it's finally winter. Well, we made it to like the middle of December, so I really can't complain. I'll be honest, I am slightly bummed out about the whole thing. I do love driving my McLaren and the Corvettes, but I've also been wanting to make some truck content, and I have some really cool shit planned if we get any big storms, so should be great. Still wearing my shorts though, and with that being said, let's give the McLaren a great send-off. 200 miles per hour. It has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Ever since the Ferrari F40 and the Porsche 959 set that as the benchmark 30 some odd years ago with a top speed of 200 and 201. Ever since then, if your car can't do 200, well, I'm sorry, it's just not a supercar. Now, there have been some lesser cars that have gotten to 200 along the way, like the 2009 Corvette ZR1 or even the 2014 Shelby GT500 Mustang, which when tested never actually made it to 200 unless it was downhill, but either way, it got pretty close. Regardless of that fact, still today, so many years later, 200 miles per hour is still a very hard number to hit, and you can tell that's the case because every time someone talks about 200, it's still a very big deal. It's still very special. Oh, that car can do 200 miles per hour. And that's what everyone wants to hear. They want to know, can it do 200 or more? And when I was shopping for a supercar, my first one ever, I definitely wanted something that could hit 200. And the McLaren 570S happens to be able to do 204. Now, the extra 4 is nice, but really only the 200 matters. As long as it does that, you're okay. The 4 is just 4 extra, unless you're competing for the top spot and your car can do 275, 280, 285. You know, the 4 is just a nice little bonus. Naturally then, as a little kid who had a bin full of thousands of Hot Wheels cars, as I'm sure many of you had as well, and somebody who is in their 20s and still has cars behind them, toys, you know, you never really grow up, your toys just get more expensive. But it comes as no surprise that I always wanted to do 200 myself. And for non-car people, I'm sure they're like, well, who fucking cares about 200 whatever? Who wants to go that fast anyway? Where can you even do it? But for us car lovers, I think we all get it. My friend Ryan with the Lambo Aventador has a sign in his garage that says life begins at 200. And he only bought that sign when he was in his 50s. Andy?
Michael?
What are you doing?
I'm driving back from the shop. I just got my car back up to the shop.
With that all being said, now that I do in fact own a McLaren, a car where the claimed top speed is over 200, and it's a vehicle that I believe can get there safely and pretty quickly without needing a whole lot of distance, so I don't need like 3 miles, which I can't find around here. I mean, in Mexico. Now that I have the equipment, I needed to put it and myself to the test. In the video, you are going to see a warning light and a warning message along with a warning sound, and that's just because when you are doing a VMAX run in a McLaren, not sure if it's like this for all McLarens, but the car assumes once you hit 175, the car thinks you're going for a top speed run and you're supposed to inflate the tires to a little more than normal, which I didn't do. The car wasn't breaking or falling apart, just telling me that I should have 2 extra pounds in the tires. Here's the clip, enjoy. What's alarming about it is that the McLaren, it doesn't even take a long time to get there. Like my Corvette, I've done 191, like I said. That car took forever to get there. Just keeps climbing. The faster you go, it really just doesn't seem to slow down. So finally, at the old age of 24, having loved cars all my life, having wanted to hit 200 for a very long time, I finally did it. I could not have asked for a better car to hit that milestone in, and I will always have that memory. The other crazy thing is that it really wasn't scary either. You know, the Corvette, and I hate to keep comparing the two, but it's just what you do. The Corvette was a little bit shaky, and the faster you got, like it started to go different ways in the wind. This car just really feels planted and secure. So, you know, if you do want to do 200, I would recommend a McLaren. Just a short upload for today. It is really snowing now. Holy shit, this video only took like 10 minutes to film, and now it's, well, it's getting there. So I will have truck content coming tomorrow, and we are going to finish up with a Q&A. All right, folks, like I said, ending with a Q&A. So if you would like to participate in the next one and ask me a question, feel free to follow me at StreetSpeed717. I have a 209,000 followers, trying to get to 250,000. So if you're feeling generous, check it out. First one here is Kyle Tallman12. Are you my dad? I don't think so, but anything is possible. What are the taillights on the Duramax? I bought them on Amazon, not sure what brand. So if you search Amazon LED 2500 Silverado taillights, I'm sure you can find them. Archie Jayhawk, can a question mark buy your Corrado? I haven't updated my phone, so I'm not sure what that emoji or whatever is. I'm guessing you're saying subscriber, perhaps when I'm done with it, but I'm not done with it. I haven't even started on it yet, so we'll have to see when we get there. Michael 0925. Oh, we skipped Rommel for the win. Do you love me? Sure. Michael 0925. New Raptor, when is it coming? Soon. Although I do want to wait just a couple of months. It's sometime in January. We should know if it's going to come with a 7-liter V8 for 2019. And if the V8 option is going to be out there for the Raptor, that's the one I will get. The EcoBoost is nice, but I would of course rather have a V8. I fucks with memes. Why do you dislike GTRs? I don't dislike them. It's a great car, one of the best performance bangs for the buck out there, but they're just a little bit boring. I've driven two actually, a 2009 and a 2012. And you know, they just don't really excite me. Like this, I mean, it's more expensive, but you know, a well-optioned GTR is like 120. I would much rather spend 50 more, 60 more and get this. I mean, I like rear drive. That's one of the other reasons why I got a McLaren instead of a Huracan. Are you going to trade the Z06 for the ZR1? Not sure yet. If it's financially feasible, I'd like to keep both, considering my Z06 is a drag car. The ZR1 will be a track car. If YouTube keeps doing well, I will keep both. Jimbo Walker, would you ever give your subs a ride in the McLaren? Sure, at some type of show, maybe call out events coming up soon. S. Massey, what do you think is the best financial decision you can make getting out of college? The best financial decision is just, you know, save money and spend it where you need it. You know, don't worry about having the nicest clothes. I still wear the same like cheap shit that I've worn since high school. I choose to spend money on cars, but my cars also make me money through my business, which is my YouTube channel. But, you know, just save money where you can. Don't try to outlive your lifestyle, if that makes sense. So if you're only making $5,000 a month or $2,000 or $3,000 a month, you know, don't try to live like you're balling out, because you're not. Just be humble and save your money, and that's really the most important thing. Get a good job. Get everything set up first in your life. If you notice, I never bought a car and other things like other toys. I never bought that stuff till I had everything else set up. So a place to live on my own. I knew my income was good. I had good credit, so I could get good financing. So you want to set up everything first before you start looking to spend money. So saving your money would be my advice to you. Josh Blanche, what made you like Corvettes versus any other sports car? I like all cars, like I've said many times, but the Corvette, it's tough to beat the value of the Vet, and it's a hell of a car. Always liked them. Love American vehicles, and like I said, you know, you really can't beat like a new Z06 for 70 whatever grand you can get with discounts on MSRP. Where are you gonna get that performance, the look, the sound, the feel? Where the hell are you gonna get that for 80 grand? You can't. You can only get it with a Corvette. Stacks for the Duramax? I don't think so. Will the ZR1 be faster and louder than the C7? Well, the ZR1 is also a C7, by the way. I see a lot of people saying similar things. But the ZR1 likely will be louder, more airflow through the engine, so one would assume it's louder. It's got a bigger blower. And I am going to straight pipe it, but again, on that one, we're gonna have to also wait and see. That Forza World, are you and Parker going to get married, and who will be your best man? What do you think of the Civic Type R? I think that it is the most ridiculous, riced out thing I've ever seen in my life. And I'm sorry, and I'm sure some people love the Civic Type R, but the new one is hideously awful, way too expensive. The problem with those cars is, and it's got fake fucking like vents and scoops everywhere, it's terrible. But the problem with those cars is whenever you start looking at like a Focus RS, a Civic Type R, an STI, the Evo before it got discontinued. For me, the problem with them is you start looking at like $40,000. And to me, and I understand why people get those cars. They're great daily drivers. You can use them in all weather. You can haul a lot more stuff in it. You can haul more people around. But for me, When you start looking at spending 40 grand, like I would never get a Civic Type R over a used C8 Z06 or something like that, or even like a Mustang or a Camaro, something like that's what I would get first. So for me, I've never, again, it's not that I don't like those cars, but when you start talking about they get so expensive, the whole point of like a hot hatch is that it's like 20 grand. But when you're talking about like $40,000 just because it's the highest performing version of the hot hatch, to me it gets to be way too much money for what you're actually getting. Are there any bigger plans for the Z06 in the coming year? Want to run 8s? Whatever it takes. Why do you not bulldogs in any of the videos anymore? They're still here. The bulldogs are here. I always start my videos in my garage now, so they're never out in the garage with me. RP Productions, are you coming to Texas 2K or nah? I plan to, and I would like to, and your Hellcat's gonna get walked. What's your opinion on the Scion FRS? Well, Jake, nicely, formerly from the MVT channel, if you guys know him, good friend of mine, but he's not gonna like my answer. I think the FRS and the BRZ are, going back to that same thing, super overpriced for what you get. Now, it's a great, fun car, but to me, I would much rather spend money somewhere else, and quite frankly, they're so fucking slow, and I get it, they're not a straight line car, but it's too slow. Not everything has to be fast in a straight line, but there is such a thing as way too fucking slow, and the FRS is way too slow. Like at the drag strip, at the last call out, well, 2 call outs ago, the first one, I raced an FRS with my Duramax, and I completely fucking destroyed it. And if I had an FRS and my stock, deleted with an intake Duramax from 12 years ago, if I had one and that truck beat me, I'd be upset. There's one thing you could change in your life, what would it be? Also, when will you come to New York, and will you do a small meet and greet here? Going to New York soon, actually. But I don't know about doing a meet and greet. When we go, we only stay like overnight, so I don't really have a whole lot of free time. And I usually don't get there until the night before, then we stay overnight, and then leave the next day. So don't have a ton of time in New York, but one thing I could change in my life, honestly, things have gone really well for me, and I've worked very hard to get where I am, and I'm happy with what I have, so there's really nothing that stands out to me that I would change. Obviously, having $1 billion would be great, but maybe someday. So I hope that you enjoyed this upload. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. If you are stopping in for the first time, please subscribe. Take care. Have a great day.